I have got a very special guest in the studio with me right now, Mr. Morgan Kent, right? Who is better known to fans from the 70s as the drummer in the Wombles. Now, first of all, how do you get recognised? You get recognised in the street all the time, as a Womble?
No, not really as a Womble, but during those years as a Womble, like I was a session drummer, so Mike Batt was also a session keyboards.
Right.
And, as you know...
Mike Batt was the guy behind the Wombles, wasn't he, really? He was the voice as well.
Yeah, he was all the voices. Yeah. He was excellent, really.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, great orchestrator.
But they were great fun songs, weren't they? Could you have imagined a bunch of... What were they? Were they supposed to be rodents?
Well, I don't know what they were. I wouldn't call them rodents, though. I mean, they were really a big hit with the kids. It were massive, absolutely massive.
Well, I think what we should do is, first of all, just remind ourselves of how it sounded, right? So here we go. Fantastic. That brings back the memories, doesn't it? That really does. And what a great track that was. How many hits did the Wombles have altogether?
Well, we had about 6 number one hits. It was massive.
Yeah.
And all the LPs in those days went platinum.
Yeah.
So we had loads of them in the top 10, and we actually had our own dressing room in top of the Pops, Shepherd's Bush.
Well, you need a dressing room to put the suits on, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
But did you tour with them as well?
Yeah. Well, every
was there Womble hysteria?
Well, there was for the little kids, the basic message was to keep Britain tidy.
That's right, yeah, because they used to tidy up all the time. They used to clean up Wimbledon Common.
Well, exactly. We were the first greenies, I think, ecology.
Yeah. Very true, yeah, way ahead of your time. The Wombles were way ahead of their time.
Exactly. Well, they're still going now. Mike Batt puts one out a year now.
Does he really?
Yeah. but it was really good. But when you say, did anyone know? They only knew in the business, like I'd be in the showbiz football team and stuff like that. They know Morgan Kent was a Womble,
Yeah, yeah.
But you couldn't really tell the public because otherwise you get nicked. but as Michael Caine would say, do you know? Nobody knew I was a bloody Womble for bloody years. Only the other day someone said, you remind me of a Womble. I said, you're bloody right. Do you know what I mean?
Right, take us back. How did you get to become a Womble?
Well, as I say, I was a session drummer for lots of people, and then I did a lot of mic tracks, and that was fantastic, by the way, because you get a song like Minuetto Allegretto, which...
That was fantastic. That was a bit of classical music with a pop... bent to it, wasn't it?
It was the London Philharmonic. London Philharmonic Orchestra, and that was me, 20 years old in a big dome, big church dome with the Philharmonics. And Mike Batt's with the baton, and he goes 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and all I had to do was bass and higher, bass, bass, and the entire orchestra came in. It was just wonderful,
unbelievable, fantastic, great. And so you say you were a session drummer. What other stuff did you sing on? Or sing and play on? Well,
after the Wombles, during the Wombles actually, I met this guy called Ben Findon.
Which we know very well, yeah. He wrote, I'm in the mood for dancing and Love Really Hurts Without You. He was a right pop star at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I know you know him very well. And when I came over here this time, been over here many times, but I looked for Ben, and
you met up with him again, yeah.
It was you that helped me find him. Ben Findon, I know him. And that was a weird meeting. That was like a guy walked into a bar, and there he was. It was unbelievable. So anyway,
but you did some stuff with him then.
Yeah, Ben Findon and Pete Shelley were writers at the time. As you say, they wrote Love Really Hurts and lots of stuff, Nolan's and
Doolies.
And I was on a lot of that stuff. And at one stage, Alvin Stardust, I was going to be Alvin Stardust because I couldn't find anyone.
Yeah, because the guy that we always saw as Alvin Stardust, that wasn't him singing, was it?
No, that was actually Peter Shelley.
Peter Shelley was singing, yeah. Yes.
He was one of the writers because they couldn't find anybody to do it.
Right. And so you could have been Alvin Stardust.
I could have been, yeah. I could have been. But do you know what?
My cuckoo.
Ben said to me, actually, and I quote, he said, Morgan, would you like to be Alvin Stardust?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I've got my own record coming out. I want to be big in my own name.
Yeah.
And my record came out and sold 4. 3 went to my mum.
He's went to number 1.
And he's went to number 1.
That's the way the music business goes, isn't it?
That's the crossroads.
So many people have made those kind of mistakes. So what do you do now then?
Well, now I work on ships all the time now.
Yeah.
And I'm an impressionist, and mainly they wanted me to do Rod Stewart. I'm doing a lot of Rod Stewart stuff.
Okay. So you spike the hair up and everything.
Yeah, I've got all my hair done up, and people say I look like Rod Stewart when I'm in full flight.
Right. Okay.
I sound like him, they reckon.
Old.
yeah. Well, I'm a little bit younger than him.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But even if he was 5 years younger than him, you'd still be old, wouldn't you?
There you go.
Yeah, I love the cabaret. You know, I'm a comedian that does Rod. It's like a bit of a tongue-in-cheek Rod. Hello, my name's Rod Stewart. I'm the sexiest man alive.
But that sounds like Michael Caine.
Oh, sorry.
All your impressions sound like Michael Caine.
Oh, sorry. I went back to Michael Caine there. Hello, my name's my name's Todd. Hot Rod Todd.
Come on, get up, get out, and start grooving. Jingling around to the sound of music.
Okay, so now let's go back to the Wombles, right? Because I think that they were an absolute iconic act, weren't they? And from the 70s. What year was it?
Well, the Minuet Allegretto is on Top of the Pops in 74 because I checked on that the other day. If you go YouTube, TOPS, you'll see it on there, Minuet Allegretto. And it went along the 70s to the 80s, and then Mike Back called it a day.
Yeah.
But every week one of us would have to go somewhere, like to France or Denmark, onto those pop programs.
Yeah.
Because we did have a lot of stuff put into other languages.
Did you get interviewed then, like as a Womble? Not easy, would it?
Yeah. No. I remember we went to America because we had a hit.
Did you?
Yeah, we had a country hit. Yeah. Nashville Wombles play guitar real fine. Honestly, it was, and all these Wombles dressed up as, you know, cowboys. It was unbelievable. So we went there. We had a surfing hit in America.
Yeah.
And I remember going on radio there. We didn't do much anywhere else. Only personal appearances in, you know, hospitals and schools, and it was mega. I remember going to one hospital. The little boy wouldn't eat, and I went in there. And being young, I didn't really understand, you know, how good it was. You know.
Yeah.
Went in there and I was in there 10 minutes. He started eating, you know, and I said, "Can I go now?" That sort of thing. You know, but that's the power. We used to go to Buckingham Palace. You know, it was mega.
Wow,
mega. Yeah,
wow. Incredible. But the trouble is being a pop star, but wearing a suit. You know, nobody really sort of knows who you are. You know, do you ever sort of feel a little bit cheated by that?
Well, I tell you, did Mike Batt. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I know that he always suffered from being a really a great musician and orchestrator, very successful, but never as a sort of a pop star image, like he wasn't a known face. And he wrote
fantastic songs like Bright Eyes, didn't he?
He did.
You know, and you're right, he's a great orchestrator, wonderful musician, and a great character. I bumped into him quite a few times, and he was always a very nice guy, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, lovely guy, you know. We used to have a good time. Well, and that goes to the other point as well, you know, like, we're all dressed as Wombles, right? But inside the Womble costume, you know, we're all sort of like rock and roll artists. So it's still rock and roll, do you know what I mean? Inside. And we had a lot of money going on there as well, you know, so when we stayed somewhere, it was still sort of a few hijinks going on with rock and roll, so it was. But no one knew us. Maybe that was a good thing. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's have a listen to a little bit more from Remember You're a Womble. Remember You're a Womble. Okay, there's Pink and Blow Me One Last Kiss. I'm been joined in the studio now by Rich B, who Richard Borthwick, isn't it?
You've even got it right this morning.
I've got your name right, but we call you Rich B because it's easier, right? It sounds more like a rap name.
It does,
as opposed to a crap name.
That's right. Yeah.
So, Rich, he's a Womble fan, aren't you? Because you had those magazines out in the
early 80s.
Yeah. But you started those magazines because you were such a pop fan, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I mean, I had all the different records, all the different stuff. But when I was a boy, sort of 7 or 8 years old, something like that, and my favourite group were the Wombles. I had every single Womble on the wall. I had a A1 poster of every Womble.
You collected them, did you?
I had every one. I used to go down to a little newsagent shop in Chiswick High Road, and I'd buy these. I can't know what they cost then, but a great big A1 poster. They went up on the wall, and every single one. And Bungo was my favourite. I'm sitting next to him. You can't believe it.
Leave it out.
Forget Michael Jackson. I've got him.
And I believe not only have you bought bagels and smoothies and stuff in for us today, right, which is wonderful. Guess take note. But you've also brought in a picture for Morgan to sign.
I picked up 3. I'm just hoping he's actually in one of them. We got him. We got Abbey Road.
To the camera there. Look at that.
Abbey Road. We got an album. We've got everything on there.
Right, fantastic. So you
better sign that before you go.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Do it live now. Right?
Do it live now. There you go. There you go.
Just sign that for him.
I've got the picture.
Put it to Richard,
because I've never seen
a treasure that I am.
I've never seen a Womble signing an autograph before.
Yeah, you can rest on that.
But you've witnessed Womble signing autographs.
I have witnessed a Womble signing autographs. I went to I don't know exactly how old I was. I went to Celebrity It's a Knockout at Fulham Football Ground.
Right.
I went along there and they had all the celebrities lined up, and you could queue up to have them. You could have your autograph with anybody, and there was this massive line for Wombles. I mean, a huge line, and I waited and then it eventually disappeared, and I ended up with Anita Harris. That's who I got. I only got Anita Harris,
who's a minor celebrity.
That's right. Morecambe and Wise were there, but I couldn't get them. I couldn't get anybody like that. All I got was Anita Harris, and I lost my Womble. But it's only taken me 40 odd years, but I have my Womble.
How did you sign autographs in those suits? Could you actually do it?
Well, yeah, we had gloves that were sewed into the arm, and so we could hold things in that, but we didn't really sign a lot, to be honest with you, because Bernard Cribbins was the voice, and so he had a license on that, and Liz Beresford was a writer. There was always an uphill battle all the time with them, because we were the Wombles that made the Wombles, her Wombles, and she kept on suing us and saying things like, this lyric is not very nice, I don't like this lyric. And it's like, as a songwriter, Barry.
Yeah.
And so he had to, Mike Batt kept on changing, thinking, we had a terrible time with her, but we won in the end.
Did Mike Batt ever want to be sort of a little bit sort of edgy with it, and maybe a little bit naughty sometimes? Well, just a bit of humour, because he was humorous, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a great humorous guy. We used to have great times with him. He had a big Rolls Royce. And Rolls Royces aren't supposed to be driven by 6 hoodlums, going into a petrol station and saying, "Can I have £1 worth, please?" And I remember, and there was all sorts of things. He was a funny guy, but as the Womble was on tour, when I say on tour, on personal appearances, when we had to go overseas, like in Europe and stuff, especially America, he used to really have a laugh. It was
I never knew the Wombles were big in America.
No, I didn't actually. No. I'll be honest, amazing, I didn't know that.
But they must have thought it was British quirky. They loved anything quirky, didn't they?
So they loved Benny Hill, didn't they? I mean, that was good. You couldn't get more quirky than that. It's interesting you said, though, about Liz Beresford not liking it. Yeah. I can't understand how anybody could not get that TV series would be nothing without the group. I mean, it was absolutely essential. I met one of my friends is the agent for Des O'Connor, and I met Des O'Connor once, and I asked him that thing about Morecambe and Wise and the fact that he always used to take the mickey out of him. He said every time they were taking the mickey out of me, I was selling records, so I didn't really care. You know what I mean?
Right,
and the same goes for that. Every time
any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, every time he's out there banging the drums and singing the thing with the Wombles, people are watching the show, and she's selling more books. I don't know how she could not get it.
Come on, get up, get out, and start grooving. Juggling around to the sound of music.
We were really big in the US at one stage with a Wombling surfing record.
Yeah.
And I remember doing Top of the Pops, and Bing Crosby was on, right?
Really?
Yeah, Bing Crosby. And as I say, we was all young and we didn't care about any of those things, but I did at that time, funny enough. Bing Crosby.
Well, Bing Crosby was a legend, let's face it, you know?
Yeah, but I said to the boys, I'm going to go and see Bing Crosby. They went, what for? What are you going to go and see him for? Yeah, all that, you know.
That's how they spoke.
Yeah, what's all that all about then, eh? Except for Mike Bay, he was quite well spoken.
He spoke very good, because he dealt with musicians, proper music. The orchestra.
Excuse me.
And he has to
I played with a London Philharmonic, you know. So anyway, I went round to see the dressing room one, and I went down there and up there, and I got the dressing room one. There was Tom Jones. There was like all the big stars, Cliff Richard. They're all lining up on my life. It was unbelievable. They were lining up, and this big black dude came out, and he said, "Okay, who are you?" He said, "Tom Jones." He went through the line, and he come up to me. He said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a Womble." And from the open door in the dressing room, I could hear Bing, and he had Womble, bring him in here. I love the Wombles. And I was at the back of the queue, and I walked straight in first. And as I walked in, I'll see you later, Tom. Bye bye.
And he knew who they were.
Yeah, man. He said, I want the Wombles for my grandchildren.
Womble gave you status.
Unbelievable, wasn't it? I remember seeing that TV show with Bing Crosby and David Bowie doing Little Drummer Boy and stuff. You could figure he'd know David Bowie, you know, but to know the Wombles is great, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, it's the kids, you see. He had grandkids, and they loved the Wombles.
Yeah, never thought.
And the message was always that ecology stuff, you know.
Yeah, it was way ahead of its time, wasn't it? Really, if you think about it, all that recycling.
Way ahead. Well,
ahead.
We couldn't get it going in Australia, but it went all right in New Zealand. But in Australia, it didn't go because she had it. Liz Beresford got the brunt of it, and all they made it into was lollipops and sweeties.
Oh, right.
So Mike Bat said, well, they can stick their sweeties back in the bags.
Something like that. But I mean, it was all about cleaning up Wimbledon Common, wasn't it? I mean,
exactly.
and basically tidying up litter.
Yeah,
that was what the whole thing of the Wombles was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and if you eat your food like the Wombles do, and then you'll be big and
furry.
But you know, it was also one of the early merchandise things. I mean,
it was, wasn't it?
I had the
you're
posters.
A consumer.
There were sticker books. There were little Wombles. There were all sorts of stuff. There were drinks. There were all sorts of things, and way ahead of its time.
Yeah. To be fair, that would have been all filmfare stuff, which was coming out of Liz Beresford's company. Yeah, but Mike Bat just had the songs, you know. And you remember that pianist, with the long black blonde hair.
Rick Wakeman.
Yeah, Rick Wakeman, Journey to the Centre of the Earth, right? Yeah. Well, Mike Bat didn't really get on with him, but Mike Bat could write anything, and he wrote The Dreams of Orinoco being a Womble, which Mike Bat was a Womble. Yeah. And he wrote The Dreams of Orinoco, which means he was a band leader, he was this, and he was also Journey to the Centre of the Universe. Right. And he took the mickey out of the whole thing. And if you take some of the lyrics off the Womble tunes, like Ambungo said to Orinoco, or something like that, if you take lyrics off, the music is absolutely spectacular.
Oh yeah, some good stuff. Yeah, I heard you talking about a cruise ship. Do you ever sing Womble sings on a cruise ship?
Well, I did the other day actually. Funny enough, because someone said you should mention it if you're a Womble, and I said, well, no one knows, and it's Australia basically, and no one knows. I said, no, you should mention it. So what I did, I put pictures up on the wall, and I did a little sort of.
This is how I look before the surgery.
I put pictures up first of all of the Teletubbies, and I did a little comedy script on why the kids are so useless today. Right. Because I was brought up with Teletubbies and bananas in pajamas, and it's some sort of thing that goes in their minds, and it was like a comedy script. I said, but we were brought up on Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Man.
Bill and Ben, yeah, of course, yes.
It's
the weed in the middle.
It's funny, I spoke to my 19-year-old son last night, I think it was, when I heard that he was in, because I was listening to the radio, I heard he was in, and I said, I'm coming to see, and he knew who they were, 19, you know, so it's not like it's rolled on, you know what I mean? He went, really? I went, yeah, you know.
Maybe I should use them more. But in the end, on this presentation, on this comedy script, I ended up, and then of course there was the Wombles. That come up on the screen, and people actually knew it, and I said, I was that one there, I was Bungo. And then through the next like 10 days on the ship, people coming up to me and saying, hey Bungo, how you going, tell us more, and they wanted to know, so I was wrong, people do know.
There you go.
Wombles,
there you go. They were big. They were one of the biggest iconic groups of the 70s.